Please welcome the one and only Coooley. We'll dig deep into his origin story, get his take on Diablo II Resurrected, discuss creator monetization and trust.
Boom. Blizzard drops the bomb and they're like, we're remaking this game. They show, like, I still remember the trailer with the graphics and everything. I was like, I think I almost cried in Discord. I was like, this is so wild. Like, before I started it all, I was actually homeless. I'm gonna be $250,000 in debt before I even get a job. I'm like, here we are. And then even
your head smells so good.
I was able to pay off not only my house but my student loans, my car, and all of this, and I was like, holy shit, I have no debt. Man, yeah, 2015 Modern State Champion right here, man. You're talking
Really?
to him. Affinity deck before Hardened Scales. You know what it is.
Are you serious?
Black Lotus owner here as well, yeah.
Really? Even mentioned you consulted the legal team to make sure.
Don't be showing those off to everybody, sweetheart. Put those away. Jesus, the Smalps will be stealing you here before it's all said and done. What are you doing? Jesus.
Get your ass back there.
Also something, I have my fuck you price is what I call it, like where if I don't want to do one, kind of nervous, and I was just like, oh man, like there's a lot of people like relying on this being a good show. And I remember like I had to stop and look in the mirror and I tell myself, I say, you don't have to do this. Yeah, I can see like creator debates and all this stuff too, like, you know, something happens with a patch and you have like, oh, hey, I told you wait till after the show, all right?
Alright, ready? Shoot.
Let's jam.
Two guys.
God. This is deep.
Let's look at the next card.
That looks like a penis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Pro Gamers Journal, broadcasting live from the Crimson Loot Carnival, where every single hour, players jump into custom-built minigames for a shot at winning real loot. We've just given away a 24-karat gold-plated computer, and we've been giving away a custom one-of-a-kind computer every month for over a year now. We've also given away over 4,500 USD in our minigames, which we run every weekend, and we're only just getting started. But today isn't just about prizes, it's about perspective. Our guest is one of the fiercest competitors in the ARPG space, especially when it comes to competing with peers directly. He's smashed Uber Tristram records, pioneered PvP content in Diablo II Resurrected, and built an audience through relentless energy, entertaining commentary, and fearless community events. If you care about growth as a gamer, a creator, a competitor, or maybe you're a brand who wants insider information, this episode is bound to be packed with lessons, laughter, and legendary jewels. Please welcome the one and only Coooley. We'll dig deep into his origin story, get his take on Diablo II Resurrected, discuss creator monetization and trust, community building strategies, and even touch on creator burnout. Alright, grab your potions and buckle up. This is going to be one hell of a ride.
Man, they still applauding out there. You guys are too kind. Too kind, man. Jeez. Wow, I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it, man. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for having me, dude.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Where are you from? How did you first get into Diablo 2? What led you to start streaming and creating content around it?
Yeah, crazy, man. Like, it was so funny. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, everybody has a really unique story, you know, how they started up. And I was like, I just feel like a dumbass that just fired it up one day and just started jamming. But then I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it's kind of actually been a journey, hasn't it? Like, it's kind of been wild, man. I've been playing Diablo 2 since I was probably like a teenager, like early teenager, man. Definitely high school. I remember jamming with my friends, doing some PvP and stuff. Like I still remember the first time my buddy Brad was like, dude, you got to check out this game, man. You can go to hell and you can fight the devil and shit. He's like, it's pretty dope. And like I see him in the River of Flame. He's like trying to solve the, he's trying to solve the seals and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. And that was that, man. But yeah, I'm from the United States, Maine, small state. Most people don't even know it's a state. Some people think it's Canada, but it's up there. It's technically United States. But we're up there, man. It's like it's one of the colder states. But yeah, that's where I've been. I've kind of lived around the United States as well. Lived in the ATL for a while, where the King of the South takes over. Some people might have seen the inspiration from that. I did a rap video as a joke versus Mr. Llama recently. Some might have seen that King of the South inspiration, but yeah, like it's crazy, dude. I was playing Diablo 2 when I was a teenager, and it felt like it always felt, even since back then, it was like a nice escape. It was like just like anybody playing a game, right? Like you usually when you get hooked on one, it's from good circumstances, right? Like you have some friends that you're playing with, you have some really good experiences. And as we get older, I think like we really yearn for that, right? Like it gave us an experience that we can go back to. We can always kind of have or at least be reminded of going back to it. So for all throughout my life, dude, it started as a teenager, and all throughout my life I just was like always going back to Diablo 2. Almost toxically. Like I would use it as as an escape sometimes, like if some like heavy shit was going on in my life that I didn't feel like I was like, man, I ain't ready for this. Like I need some time to think and I don't want to be stressed out. Diablo 2 is just always the go-to game. Like if there was like some uncertain shit in a relationship, if I had like a job interview or something like I was nervous for, it was just like, yep, all right, let's jam some Diablo 2, just wind down a little bit, escape for a little bit. Make it feel like I had everything figured out. No matter how rough life got, no matter how stressful it was, I could always pop into the Bloodmoor with my level 30 or go hunt people down and randomly gank a level 90 out of nowhere and laugh about it for hours, man. So like that was the kind of fun I was having on D2 even back then. But like it was crazy as far as the streaming career goes. And like when I started with that, like it was really weird, man. What a weird time in my life. Actually, a few years before I started it all, I was actually homeless. And what do you think I was doing right up until the day I moved out of the last place that I lived there? Was playing the goddamn Diablo 2. I was like, this is a big stressful moment. I don't know what to do, but at least I can go find a Shaco and sell that, make it feel like I got something figured out. It was like an escape for me, right? But it wasn't like I was, it wasn't like I was on the corner in a box or something. I like had a college degree. I'd been accepted into law school, and like, I was originally going to do that. And so I was like, I knew I wouldn't be there forever, but I Saul Goodman'd my way into getting a job that I like didn't feel like I deserved, and I always felt like, oh man, I shouldn't be here. Mad imposter syndrome. And so the first thing that I did when I got my first paycheck from this big boy job, the big boy pay after being homeless, which by the way, the interview, if they would have ever called my bluff, man, I was in there negotiating like a boss. I was like, I don't know, we're going to have to raise this salary to the max, man. You have no idea. you have no idea what you're getting here, right? Like total bluff, right? And so I get this, and what do I do with the first paycheck that I get? I like run to the bank and I'm like, all right, man, I make this much now and I need a home loan. Like, you know what I mean? These guys, I don't even think these guys knew that I was homeless. Like I'd listed my parents' address or whatnot. And I have a great mom and dad. Like I could have gone back and lived with them, but I was approaching 30 at the time, or maybe I was 30. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I ain't going back with my mom and dad, right? Like we're making this work. We're fighting through this. But anyways, like it was crazy, dude. So I got a home loan. I bought a house, and it felt like the worst decision. I was like, oh shit, dude, I'm like financially committed to this. Like this like this is big. And I still felt like I was going to get fired from that job. I was just like, I just don't belong here, man. Like, theoretically looking back, like a lot of people have that imposter syndrome and you probably be okay, but I didn't feel like that at the time. Right. So I was doing the craziest stuff to like, just in the event that I would get fired from that job that I would be able to like pay my mortgage. You know, I learned how to count cards, and because there's a casino by me, and I was like, all right, well, you know what I'm gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna learn how to count cards, and you know, I'm gonna go see how profitable that is. Well, like shit, man. I like went there a couple of times and walked out with thousands of dollars. Like it works, man.
Jesus.
It works. Like you're rolling the dice, but like man, it works. And so I was like, okay, so there's that. I was like, if I lose my job and I have to, you know, pay my mortgage or whatnot, I can always just go to the casino. Like, but I was always looking, like I was hustling, man. I was like, there's got to be something I can do just in case I get fired. Like I don't want to be in that spot again. And then I heard that like people were making money streaming and putting content on YouTube and stuff. And I was like, all right, man, like I'll try this out. And I still remember it was during the pandemic is when I started it up. So I had actually already had that job for like a little over a year. But you know, that's about the time it's even scary because they put you on like these year watch periods where like if they don't like you after a year, they just like can you. So I was like, I was like kind of nervous. I was like, man, but, you know, it ended up being all right. Like I say, I kept the job for a while, but like at the same time, I was like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's just try it on YouTube. And I still remember my first video that I uploaded. It was so bad, man. I don't even think I knew my microphone was on. So you just hear me like in the background. I'm like dueling in the Blood Moor of Diablo 2 and just literally getting my ass kicked. Like there's this guy named TFC Priest from LOD. He was notorious Zon player. And he was just wiping the floor with me in the Blood Moor. And here I am thinking that for whatever reason, I just thought it was a good idea to put that video up. I was like, let's show off my paladin getting his ass kicked. And, you know, I'm like laughing in the background or some shit. Like I said, I don't even think I knew my mic was on. But it obviously didn't do too well. I don't think it got, you know, many views. Like there was, you know, just like 10 or 20 views or something. And but then I remember the day where I was like, all right, man, let's like actually try to do something cool. So, you know, I was like, let's show off my gold find barb. I was like, I don't think anybody does it like me. Like, let's show this off. And I remember turning the camera on and I was like, all right, I'm just going to explain this. I'm going to show people what's up and, you know, we'll post it up there. And I still remember like in the first day, it got like 400 views. And I was like, what? I was going wild, man. I was like, all right, this is it. Like, you know, this is it right here. And then just ever since then, I've just been trying to make like better videos and trying to be a student of the game. And probably a year after like that, I started doing that, maybe a little less than a year. Blizzard announced that they were going to do Diablo 2 Resurrected. And like that was huge. Like for someone that had just stepped into making Diablo 2 content from a game that like, you know, that I always used to escape with, that I always used to love, and that, you know, I felt as though I could contribute something positive and unique to. Boom. Blizzard drops the bomb and they're like, we're remaking this game. They show like, I still remember the trailer with the graphics and everything. I was like, I think I almost cried in Discord. I was like, this is so wild. Like, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way, like that same sense of nostalgia and stuff.
Oh, as soon as you enter Tristram, right, and hear the music, that's it.
It's iconic, man. It's iconic. And so yeah, flash forward like a year after that, like, or even before that, everybody that was in the Diablo 2 sector, like YouTube, Twitch, and all of this, like their channels started blowing up, like started getting a lot more attention, especially if you had already kind of established yourself, you know, and you already had content out there for people to search for. Like views just started like blowing up on, you know, on those types of channels. And I was, you know, I was lucky enough to have started playing Diablo 2 at that time. And yeah, when it finally did launch, everybody's channel who was like a real pro and like knew the game, man, it was crazy. What a time it was to be alive, right? Like, I was always a hustler though. Like, you got to remember, like a couple years before that, I was like homeless. So, and you remember my mentality of being like, okay, like you gotta give yourself something to do, just in case you get fired, right? Like, I was always looking for opportunities. Like, I think I was one of the only creators in the D2 sector at that point, like that really took paid promotions seriously and tried to learn them and do better at them. Like paid promotions, the things in your YouTube videos where, you know, they give you products or money to talk about what, XYZ. And, so I was trying those out. I was like, all right, man, let's do it. That's like that's a mortgage payment for the month or something. Like, that's how I would look at it. Or that'll help pay the electricity bill or something, And, but then like, there was also so many other opportunities that came my way. I got very lucky, but also was trying to like sharpen my craft. And long story short, man, I did pretty well. And I was able to, pay off not only my house, but my student loans, my car, and all of this. And I was like, holy shit, I have no debt. And it was just straight hustling during that time, putting out like so many videos, doing so many like, promotions, working out so many deals behind the scenes. Even one with like Facebook gaming, they had like a dying streaming platform essentially at the time. And they were desperate. They were definitely desperate if they were coming after me, because I was certainly not a great streamer at the time. Like, I still think I've got a ways to go before I, reach the greats like with Dijo that popped in earlier. Guy's insane. But, at the same time, there was so many opportunities, and it was just, I lucked into it, got so lucky. And, I remember having a wow moment, like not World of Warcraft moment, but like a out of body wow moment and being like, holy shit, the game that I sort of escaped reality with, and the game that sort of I used to give me this false sense of security in times where life was stressful, has ironically led and was part of the reason why I now do have a very realized sense of security. Like I don't have to worry about no one taking the house now. I was like, the state can take it, but I mean, if they start the legal proceedings, that's going to be a few years. It's going to take them some time. But it was so crazy. And like, I was lucky with that. And ever since then, I always knew that it wouldn't always be like that. But I finally had the freedom to like not have to worry and not have to like, worry about being in that same spot that I was, a few years ago. And that's when I just started working on the craft. I was like, all right, man, I love doing this. I love putting videos out on YouTube talking about, telling stories, like, essentially, but it just so happens many of them have to do with Diablo 2. And yeah, so here we are today. And, still a lot of those stories have to do with Diablo 2. And I'm continually working on my craft, trying to make better videos, trying to make better streams, trying to make my streams as entertaining as possible, watching some of the greats and taking notes, continuing to like grow in my own way.
Talk about an introduction, man. So you said you were studying law, right? So was that job initially a law related job, or what was it?
Hell no, man. Hell no. Like it was funny because if you go in for law, like a lot of times people go in and they'll study political science as their undergrad. That's what I did. So like useless degree unless you go to law school. But when I got accepted into law school, I didn't come from like a rich family or anything. So like when I saw the price tag of like $75,000 a year, I was like, holy shit. It was a number I'd never seen before. And I'm like, even though looking back, like that's probably pretty decent. Like, it's like a decent price for law school these days. But I'm like, I'm going to be $250,000 in debt before I even get a job. I'm like,
that's crazy.
So I just remember stepping back and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see how far I can get without it. First I can always go back and do it. But I was like, so the job was actually, I was a data guy. I ran data and numbers, for a big institution, and would just make it look pretty, essentially, like put together data presentations that looked pretty, and with skills that I had learned on the fly, that I actually, I didn't go to school for it. Like I just kind of learned it on my own, doing doing things for games, studying. It's just weird how you get these skills, like, and somehow that's why I felt like I didn't really belong there, as I was like, I did this as a gamer. Like I learned all these things like in ways that most people don't. I was like, there's people that know more than me that went to school for this shit. I was like, it doesn't seem right, so. But yeah, I was big data guy.
Awesome.
How about your love life? Do you have a special somebody or are you available?
Oh my God, Lilith, for you, baby, I will clear the fucking calendar. All right, you just let me know. All right, we'll clear them all out. We usually keep a regular rotation. All right, but we're gonna that ends today. All right, no, like I have a friend. You know, we'll say that. Well, I have a friend. It's kind of hard doing. Like I've noticed as if you're trying to like date traditionally and you say that you're a content creator, I think that has such a negative connotation to it that most people don't understand it. And it kind of makes sense, man. If you think about like actual like people that call themselves content creators, like you mentioned TikTok earlier, like the chicks that just get up on there, like shake their ass or do a dance or something like that, will call themselves content creators. It's like, what did you create? Like, what did you make? You know, what story are you telling here besides replicating some dance? But that's literally the most prevalent thing. So like when someone says content creator, I feel like there's that like kind of connotation behind it. So, but long story short, it makes like it makes it for a very interesting introduction if you're starting up new, but the people that understand, and I think it is good to keep some people around like that do understand, and you can get your needs met every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Wait. So I'm just trying to recap on that. So you're saying you have a friend or a few friends that also do TikTok, or you have somebody that doesn't do TikTok and is kind of
We got some hoes on the side, all right, Max. We got some hoes on the side.
I'm just confused.
All right, we keep them lined up. We got a scheduled calendar, all right, and it's Tina on Tuesdays. That's how I remember that one. All right, I don't want to come out and say it. All right, but
In pushing
now it's
through
gonna be
this
Lilith
line,
on
baby.
Lilith on Saturdays.
Lilith on lazy Sundays.
All right, yeah, we'll make that work. All right, pencil.
Oh wow,
I'm going
okay.
to change the calendar.
Okay, all right. Who are the most important mentors in your life?
Most important mentors? Oh man, there's dude, one guy that really stands out is this guy that I met in the ATL, and I remember when I moved down there, I was like new. I was like an admissions counselor for a college. I was basically trying to sell college to people randomly off cold calls on the phone. And this guy was like my boss at the time, but we ended up becoming like really good friends, and he taught me like so many life lessons. And I remember one of the biggest ones that he ever told me. He heard me over the cubicle talking on the phone. And like, mind you, Atlanta, when I lived down there, I was the minority, right? Like I was like it's a very diverse place. And like you have all of these people. My buddy Byron was sitting next to me, dude, and he was like, he would call people up and just talk to them in ways that I couldn't. He would call them up. This was literally cold call. He's never talked to this person before. Just straight cold calls them. And he's like, they pick up the phone. He goes, "Hey, you still trying to go to school?" And I'm like, dude, I just can't do that. You know what I mean? Like I can't. Here I am. I'm just like, hey, I got your request for information about the college, and I was wondering if you'd like to schedule an interview. Like here was me, like just trying to make it work. And Eugene was his name. G is what we call him. I remember him saying this right out in front of everybody, like literally right over the cubicle. He's like, "Coooley." He's like, "I need you to act as if." And I'm like, act as if what? And he goes, "I need you to act as if you got a 12-inch dick when you're on that phone with people." And I was like, I was like, all right, man. Like, and the friendship was started there, like it was,
Right.
that guy was a straight G, man. G might have been like his nickname, but that guy was a straight G. And It's just like it was crazy. He was like my whole experience in Atlanta, man. I would say like really really cool mentor.
Dude, straight up, I reckon that's sound advice because seriously, if you just always act one stage at least above who you really are, even though you might feel a little bit of imposter syndrome or whatever, what that imposter syndrome is you being uncomfortable that you're not where you want to be. And actually, what you're going to do is you're going to try and be the person that you're telling everyone or showing everyone that you are, right? So that's a way that you grow, basically. You look at this is the next layer for me. I'm not that yet, so I feel uncomfortable kind of portraying that. But then that's how you actually get there. Because if you never actually, see yourself better than you really are, what the hell are you doing, right? Where are you going to
Right,
go? You're
right,
just going to go down or stagnant.
right.
So it's,
Yeah,
it's
man, you
sound
gotta believe it.
advice. Act as if.
Yeah. Act as if, man. It's been the three words I live by ever since then, right? Like act as if. Whenever you don't feel confident, just act as if, right? Like, yeah, it's
So
crazy.
what about like other content creators? Did anyone have a huge impact on your career? Did you like learn something from somebody that basically, gave you a nice impact on your career?
I watch a lot of people, man. Like, I mean, in a lot of different games and everything. I was, you know, I would watch Cosmo, back when he was speedrunning like Zelda. I obviously was always a big fan in the Diablo 2 genre before I started streaming. Mr. Llama, Dobrunsky, like those guys always had something like so unique about them. Even Extimus, that's just in Diablo 2, but I also played like Magic the Gathering. I would watch Jim Davis and the old Jeff Hogland, and like you kind of take notes and you see like what is different about all these people and
Mm,
why you watch them. But as far as like in recent history, like there's a couple of people that I kind of look at streaming differently now, and I'm like, this is kind of a show. Like you got to put on a show, and I think
mm.
Dr. Disrespect is just king of putting on a show. And and know that the sunglasses were not. I actually didn't even know about Dr. Disrespect before I started wearing sunglasses. Felt like an asshole afterwards, but either way, I love the shows that he puts on, and how he approaches his stream, and also my buddy Barricade has helped me out quite a bit because he's very technical with that stuff. Also has an appreciation for like the people that put on a show, and just being able to tech back and forth with that guy has been great. I've learned a lot from him, and we kind of share stories and findings, because we're both content creators, and we try to we try to put on a show with streams, with videos, and all of that. So it's good to like share information. He's been a pretty big one for me.
Interesting. So you played Magic, eh? That's like one of my favorite games. I think it's probably the game I've played the most in my life.
No shit, man. Yeah, 2015 Modern State Champion right here, man. You're talking to
Really?
him. Affinity deck before hardened scales. You know what it
Are you
is.
serious?
Black Lotus owner here as well. Yeah.
Really?
Oh
Holy
yeah,
shit,
man.
man.
Oh yeah. Dude, funny story. Do you know who Rudy is? The guy that does Alpha Investments, the channel for he has a YouTube channel called Alpha Investments. His name is Rudy. Uh
Nope.
this guy's crazy. Like so rich in the Magic world. He's got like every expensive Magic card that you can ever imagine. This guy's got like the full collection of them.
You
And
play on Arena?
I used to, yeah. I haven't played on Arena for a while. But yeah, I haven't really played much Magic in the last few years, just because like when I started jamming Diablo and making content around it, like there wasn't much time for any other games. But I did actually start up streaming Magic. That was my first ever stream. I streamed Arena.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
were you
I think.
saying something about Rudy before as well?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So Rudy, the guy that like this guy's got I can't even remember how many subscribers. Like he was a big channel, and I reached out to him. This was like far before I ever made content. I sent him an email on like his little business email thing, and I was like, hey man, I've got a Black Lotus, but I need someone to like verify that it's real, because everybody at my local gaming store is like, there's a couple
It's
of
fake.
people who are interested in it, but it's not like graded and they can't really tell if it's real. I was like, if I send this to you, like, would you do a video and like tell me if it's real? and he responded back. He's like, yeah, man, yeah. He's just like, send it to this address right here, and he's like, I'll check it out live. And I was like, holy shit. So I sent him my Black Lotus. I sent it like the slowest possible snail mail you could. It was like protected, or I forget what it was called, but like, you know, they basically have to manually check it in at each point along the way, and it takes so long to get there. It took like 2 or 3 weeks to get to him. But regardless, he opened up the box on stream, and that video, it's got like over 1 million views now. And that video of like Rudy that says like, is my Black Lotus real, or did I lose $8,000 or something like that? That's my Black Lotus in his video.
He didn't mention your name
to this day. No, he you know, just he did his best to like block out personal information on it. But I think he mentions my name, which is Michael, and like, you know, so he mentions that's me. And yeah. So that's
crazy, man.
Little fun fact, man.
I like 20 years ago, right? I was already in local tournaments, so I was like 10 years old, and this was like a massive achievement for me. And my parents thought it was so cool. They used to give me gifts every time I'd win the tournament. I'd like beat the shopkeeper. I used to play usually elves when they were like mad overpowered with like well wisher and crap like this, gain 100 life.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still playing on Arena just because you can like easily play, you know, a little bit at work, on your break, on the train, whatever. And I always get to like Mythic, probably past